11 signs you found the one. What's up, everyone? It's Sabrina from Anumo.com, and today I'm going to reveal how to know that you found the one and that he is a keeper. I can't even tell you how many messages, DMs from women all over the world, and it's been like this for the last decade. Messages from women desperately trying to understand why their relationships always fail, why they can't get a guy to commit, why nothing ever works out for them. And the majority of the time, it's because they are choosing the wrong men. People who are good at relationships aren't in on some secret that the rest of us just don't know about. I mean, yeah, they're typically confident and have a lot going on in their lives, stuff that we talk about a lot on this channel. But really what it comes down to is they choose wisely. They choose partners who can give them what they want, and then they are able to get what they want. But it's not always so easy to identify what those qualities are, especially if you grew up in a dysfunctional household and you never really saw a healthy relationship in your life. You don't know what it's supposed to look like. That's why I'm here. I'm gonna tell you the exact qualities to look out for. And if your guy checks yes to the majority of the items on this list, he's definitely a keeper. So make sure you watch this video until the end. Real quick, if you like this video and find it helpful, please tap that like button. Also be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified whenever I post new content. Also, if you have a relationship question, something going on in your life, you want to talk it out with me, we can talk on the phone or I can send you an email response. You can submit your question at anumo.com/coaching. Also make sure to subscribe to the Anumo newsletters for daily relationship wisdom, tips, advice. You get it from me and from my partner, Eric. You can subscribe at anumo.com/subscribe. All right, let's get into it. First, I want to say, if you're a regular on this channel, you know that I, for a very long time, was only interested in the emotionally unavailable guys, in what I call the damage cases. The damage case is a guy who has a lot of potential buried underneath a pile of issues. Sure, he could make a great, boyfriend, partner, husband someday, but in his current state, he's not there yet. And those are the guys I was drawn to. And it took me a really long time to realize that with these guys, I was never going to get the kind of relationship I wanted, especially as I got older and I realized I wanted to get married, I wanted to have kids, and it was just never going to happen with these types of guys. So I really had to do a deep dive on myself and figure out why those are the types of guys that I was drawn to. What was the psychology behind it? And I have other videos on this, so we're not going to talk about this here. But I'm just illustrating the point because this is something a lot of us do. We date potential, or we go for what we want or what we think we want, but it's not what we need. I also want to bring to your attention the fact that you don't know yourself as well as you think you do. Trust me, it's very easy to create this idea in your mind of, oh, this is the type of relationship that I want and I need this type of guy and he has to be this way, this way, this way. A lot of the times, yeah, maybe that's what you want, but it's not what you need. It's not what's best for you. Like, for instance, I always thought I needed some high-powered CEO type, and my husband is not that at all. And I realized if I was married to a guy like that, we would kill each other. It would be awful. It would be a nightmare. That's what I thought I wanted for a really long time. So you don't know yourself as well as you think. Now let's get into the qualities that make him the one. And these are pretty much universal. Number one, he loves your good qualities and accepts and embraces your flaws. And adding to that, he does it without making you feel guilty over the fact that you have flaws. Now, that isn't to say that he loves your flaws, It's more he accepts them. For example, I'm a really impatient person. My husband doesn't love that about me. He wishes I would be more patient, but and I'm working on it. I'm always a work in progress. I'm always working on myself. But if you have any tips on how to be more patient, please leave them down below. Anyway, it's not to say he loves that I'm impatient, that's such a turn on to him. No, not at all. But he accepts that. He doesn't shame me for that. So with the right person, yeah, they'll accept and embrace your flaws as being a part of who you are. And they'll gently encourage you to grow and work through those flaws. And he does, which is an amazing thing, without making me feel bad about it. It really comes down to being able to share your true self and be vulnerable without any shame. Number two, he is there for you even when it's inconvenient. It's very easy to be a great relationship partner when everything's great. I hear this all the time from my coaching clients, from my readers. They say, oh, our relationship was great. In the beginning, he was amazing. But then, I had this stressful event at work and this happened and things got hard and then everything fell apart and he just is never there for me. And how do I get it back on track? How do I get him to be the guy he was in the beginning? Well, you can't, because in the beginning, everything was great. But you know what? Life doesn't work like that. Life does not stay great forever. There's ebbs and flows. There's highs and lows. Sure, he was a great boyfriend to you when everything was good. But when things got stressful, when times got tough, okay, now you're seeing another really important side to him. And if he can't be there for you in the way that you need him to be, then he's not the right partner for you, because life is hard and it only gets harder. A guy who is husband material, a guy who is the one, for those of you who don't ever want a husband, don't want to get married, whatever, if a guy is the one, he will want to be there for you, even if it's inconvenient for him. He will. That will be the most important thing to him. Number 3, he considers you when making decisions, both big and small. A relationship is a partnership, not a dictatorship. Factoring you in shows that he respects you and that he sees you as someone who's going to be in his life for the long haul. This always reminds me of, remember in Sex and the City with Carrie and Big, where he decides he's going to move to Paris and he doesn't even tell her, he tells her after the fact, he's like, by the way, I'm moving to Paris. She's like, what? When were you going to tell me? Speaking of those two, I did a whole analysis of their relationship. I have a video on it here, so you can check that out. I thought it was a really fun video. Anyway, that's what it looks like. He did not factor her in because he wasn't really that serious about her, because that relationship was just a toxic mess from the beginning. And the fact they ended up together in the end was just absolutely ridiculous. You can hear more about that in my rant on them. I'll try to remember to link it down below. But anyway, when a guy is serious about you, when he's the one, he brings you into the fold. He doesn't drag you along for the ride. He brings you in a significant way. Number 4, he's growth oriented. No one is perfect. We all have flaws. And those flaws aren't so black and white. A lot of the times, a person's greatest strength is also their greatest weakness. For example, I mentioned that I could be really impatient. At the same time, that impatience, the other side of it is that I'm really efficient, I'm very quick, I get things done fast, and that's why I'm so impatient, because I don't have time for anything. And that's why I'm also so impatient, because I'm just kind of go, 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 plow through life. So you could see that with anything. It's not so black and white. The most important quality is not finding someone who doesn't have any flaws. That's impossible. You're setting yourself up to fail if that's what you're looking for. Is this person focused on refining their character, on growing? Are they growth oriented? You don't want to be with a guy who is an I am what I am type of person. Those are the worst type of people. I am what I am. This is just how I am. Okay, fine, but you can work on that. And someone who's super loud and bold, strong personality, can't turn themselves into this shy, quiet little flower in the corner. That's not going to happen, but you can refine your character traits. So if he is just this is how I am, take it or leave it, and shows no interest in working on himself, especially in the areas that are hurtful to you. If he is a really insensitive person and he's okay, that's just how I am. Sorry, you don't like it, that's your problem. A guy who is emotionally mature and evolved and growth oriented will say, I know I can be insensitive at times. I want to work on it. Help me work on it. Point things out to me. I'm not always aware of it. So that's the quality you want to look for. Is he focused on improving himself? Number 5, common beliefs and values. This one seems so obvious, and yet it is so often overlooked. A relationship cannot survive off of chemistry alone. I know that having explosive chemistry is fun and exciting, but you also need fundamental compatibility. And you have to address these things early on in a relationship. Otherwise, you're going to wake up years down the line and you're going to realize, okay, we can never make this work because one wants kids, one doesn't. One wants to live on a farm, one wants to live in the city. One is, this political party, one's that political party, and it's just never going to work. You don't want to wake up down the line and realize those things. And some of these things are deal breakers. You have to look at the whole picture. Do we share the same vision for the future? Do we have common beliefs, common values? Don't shy away from these conversations because you're scared of rocking the boat. You need to know. Number 6, he views you as his partner. A relationship is more than just you and him. It's you and him together as a team, as a partnership. If a guy is the one, he sees you as his equal, his partner, somebody he wants to go through life with. You're someone he can grow with, not someone who is there just to feed his ego, give him validation, meet his needs without him having to give anything back. Another element of this is that he shows a deep respect for you, for your values, for who you are as a person. He doesn't make you feel bad about your life or your circumstances. He sees you for who you are and appreciates that. Number 7, he is willing to put effort into the relationship. This one is huge because I see this all the time where women come to me and they are doing all the work in the relationship. They're trying to save things. They're trying to save him, save the relationship, save everything. And what is he doing? Nothing. Nothing. He's just there. He's just a take it or leave it type of guy. These things all play into each other. If a guy is the one, he will also want to make it work. He will want to do whatever it takes to make it work. Number 8, you're able to communicate with each other even about the really tough issues. Look, we all know that communication is key in a relationship. And a lot of the times relationships fall apart because two people just cannot communicate with one another. They're scared of rocking the boat. They can't see eye to eye. They just have different communication styles. And then if you add that with a relationship where the other partner just doesn't want to put effort into anything, it's a mess. Like, it's awful. You end up essentially living like two separate lives, and the relationship just can't survive like that. So it's really important to have a partner who can hear you, can really hear what you're saying, and who you can have open communication with. You can bring up the tough stuff, the tough subjects, the things that are bothering you. Because if you don't, then you will just build resentment. And the more resentment that builds, the more toxic the relationship will become. It's inevitable. Number 9, he's trustworthy. You feel safe being open and honest with him. You don't feel worried that he's gonna violate that trust. You don't feel like he's gonna use anything that you share with him against you. You also trust that he's not gonna leave you unexpectedly, that he is genuine, that he is in this. It's funny, like a lot of the times I notice that people will come to me and ask questions and they're like, you know, is he losing interest? How does he feel about me? Is he serious about me? But like, they know he's not. They're just kind of hoping they're wrong and coming to me as like a last-ditch effort to find out if, you know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just being insecure. Deep down, like, you know the truth. You know when you're with someone who's also in it, who's on the same page as you. Just like you know it when you're with someone who's not on the same page as you. So with a guy who's the right one for you, you just have that trust, that feeling of safety. Number 10, he's your biggest fan. He wants the absolute best for you. He wants to see you win, genuinely, with no jealousy and no sense of competition. This is why we see so many like celebrity relationships fail, especially they call it the curse of the Oscars, but you only see that when women, I mean, there's like just been so many couples where the woman won an Oscar and then shortly after she got divorced because the guy just couldn't handle her success, or at least that's what we suspect the reasoning is. But in that industry where you have these like celebrities who are desperate for the limelight, there is that element of competition. And it is hard to like root for your spouse when their fame starts to eclipse yours or whatever the case may be. So that's something to watch out for. You don't want to be in a relationship where there is that jealousy, that feeling of competition, the feeling of, okay, I need to be on top, I need to be better than you, I won't be able to be happy for your success. Number 11, you're on the same page. If you want to get the relationship you want, choose a guy who wants the kind of relationship you want. It's as simple as that. You cannot date potential. You cannot, take some raw potential and mold it into what you want it to be. You have to take him for what he is right now. If you're only dating guys who say they don't want to be in a relationship, then you're not going to end up in a relationship. You have to take it all at face value. So make sure that if you and him want the same kind of relationship, great, it's a match. And you are interested in each other, you have chemistry, compatibility, he demonstrates the other traits I listed in this video, then that's it. Honestly, like when you can follow these principles, relationships are simple. It's not so hard. The only caveat I want to add is sometimes your own insecurities and your neediness can get in the way and prevent you from seeing the things that I mentioned on this list. For example, you find it hard to trust him, but it's not because he's untrustworthy, it's because of your issues that you haven't dealt with. So you have to be honest with yourself and recognize the place you're coming from. You have to take ownership and responsibility for your traumas, because he can't heal them for you, and deal with it. Otherwise, it's just going to cause problems in your relationship. And I have a lot of other videos on how to heal from heartbreak, on how to be a woman of high value, on how to conquer your insecurities, how to love yourself. I mean, we've covered it all on this channel, so definitely check those out as well. And if you want to ask me a question personally, get a personalized answer, you can do that at anumo.com/coaching. Also make sure to sign up for our newsletter, anumo.com/subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.